Welcome to another episode of It's Just Alex P. And on this episode, we're talking not so current events. And the topic tonight, vaccine mandate. Yes, the vaccine mandate. Quick history of COVID-19, of what I remember about it at least. So back in 2019, December 2019, it was discovered in China, in Wuhan, that there was a new SARS, I guess, variant, right? Called COVID-19. Once that happened, people were leaving China still. China hadn't shut down, so of course it started spreading across the world. And, once China knew it was serious, they started locking down, of course. But over here in January, I think, or February of 2020, our president at the time, I don't know if he was briefed or what he was told, but he started to ban flights from China. Throughout this process, Trump started putting things into place. He'd do lockdowns, of course. He had lockdowns. First, of course, I think first it started for 2 weeks or so, and then it progressed. And then, of course, he started a program called Warp Speed. And Warp Speed was a program to encourage drug companies like Pfizer and so forth for them to invest in getting a vaccine as quickly as possible. And the government would give contracts out to them and basically pay for some of their research and so forth for them to be able to fast track a vaccine. Pandemic kept on getting worse, so we reached a point where Trump left, or the president at the time, Trump, he left, and we had a new president that came in that had an agenda that he was going to end the pandemic. And when he got in, of course, he tried different ways of saying, encouraging people to get the vaccine, encouraging people till it got to a point where enough people haven't taken it, or he's trying to get to 100% vaccination or a very high percentile, and his way of doing it now, after progressing from encouraging people, is to now mandate what we put in our bodies, right? Mandate that we all take the vaccine. If you choose not to take it, you're going to lose your job. You're not going to have a way for you to make money. Just these horrible things, right? Horrible things. But there's also horrible things if you don't take it. So it's hard. It's a hard line, right? So we're thinking about one's for it and one's against it. There's typically a couple arguments, right? You should take the vaccine. The ones for the vaccine mandate is that everybody needs to take the vaccine because we're thinking about everyone else. Your right to not take it shouldn't infringe on somebody else's right. If you don't take it, but then you're spreading it, it's going to keep the pandemic going and keep it going and going and going, right? While the people on the other side that say against it, or against getting a vaccine in any sense, or against the mandate, the biggest thing that they're saying is that the government shouldn't tell us what to put in our bodies, and where does it end, right? Where does it end at that point where the government is telling us what to put in our body, right? So they're looking at it as more of a freedom thing, and then they're looking at it as, we're trying to end the pandemic in a sense, so some things you just have to mandate. So what are my thoughts on the vaccine mandate? My thoughts are very simple. During the course of the government having companies, rush to make a vaccine, they made it possible that once the vaccine was created and getting it out there and rushed, anybody that took the vaccine and something happens to them, you could not sue those companies. And it went a step further as well, now that if you choose to take the vaccine and something happens to you, the government has no liability, right? You cannot sue the government or sue any of those companies, right? The people that have passed away from the vaccine, it's a very small percentage, around 8,000 people. But that's still 8,000 people that's dead, and 8,000 families that don't have that person anymore, and that's hurting, right? You cannot be out here forcing someone to take a vaccine or put something in their body, and then if something happens to them, you have no liability, right? There's no risk to you. You take zero risk. They're the only ones taking the risk. The only risk is that maybe people don't vote for you, but someone's life is gone. It could be a father, it could be a mother, right? And now their kids fatherless, motherless, right? And I understand getting the COVID could cost all those things, but it's a choice that those people are making. And if you're going to remove people's choice, I think you should take on the risk that if somebody passes away or has some kind of allergic reaction that keeps them out of work, or whatever the case is, the government should cover their cost, or the family should get something from the government. And if the government says yes to those things, right, then I think a vaccine mandate is okay. But until then, no to the vaccine mandate. People need to make their own choices. I personally think everybody goes out there and get the vaccine because we want people to be safe, and I don't want be going out and the higher possibility for me to get, because there's less people having the vaccine, that I can get it from some more people, or whatever the case is, because the vaccine has shown to reduce the spread, right? It has shown that. Not saying it completely does it. It has shown it. And it has shown to help. But the forcing of people to do something, and you're forcing me to take something, but you get none of the risk. I'm the only person taking the risk. That's not fair. It should be my choice to take the risk. But if you assume the risk, or at least cover the cost of me passing away or anything like that happening if I take the vaccine, then I think it's fair. Well, that's my thoughts on the vaccine mandate. Next, it's just Alex P. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I might do a NASA current events. I might review a movie. I might review some food. Who knows? We're just gonna keep them going.